Hi everybody, thank you for having us. Yeah, I mean, it's a very informal presentation today about the wonderful world of interior design and how we use glass in our projects. Sadly, we're not drinking from beautiful glassware this evening as we had hoped.
That was the plan, but, as soon as possible.
So we're going to really focus on sort of projects we've done and where we've interacted and used glass. And just a little bit of a brag on the front page. Us amazingly, award-winning designers. So that we just share. We had a good year last year with some lovely awards, and we've actually been shortlisted for several awards this year. So
we know what we're talking
well
about.
done.
Well, some people think we do.
Yeah, we do some nice things. So without further ado, we'll crack on. It'll just be very informal, and Jules and I will finish each other's sentences as we always do. But yeah, in terms of how we work with glass, there's a number of kind of categories, if you like, that we kind of deal with and consider in any project. So obviously there's structural and architectural glass. We have buildings with windows and doors and all those lovely things. So we'll talk about how we deal with that in our projects. We don't get that involved with the structural side, but it does have an impact on how we dress and furnish and deal with the projects that we do. Obviously lighting, and again, the site we're on today, we've actually done some beautiful bespoke glass wall lights, so we'd love to show those to you in situ as well. So yeah. They're really stunning, actually made in the UK by one of our favourite lighting manufacturers. Obviously furniture, there is glass furniture, which we've used on some projects as well, and there's some really cool brands actually out there that do some glorious pieces of pure glass. And then lastly, mirrors and accessories. So even, down to the details, our projects, we're often putting glassware on dining tables and all those sorts of things. So we're, from the very big pieces to the very small pieces, we use glass in many, many variations. And it is a beautiful material. We do love using it for projects. As we start sort of structural, so yeah, we'll just show you some beautiful photos from some projects and talk around those. So one of our favourite projects, and actually this is one of the projects we've been shortlisted for this year. It's a beautiful penthouse in Wapping in London Dock. So a beautiful duplex penthouse on the 11th and 12th floors. And on the lower floor, so this is actually the entrance to the apartment, which is glorious. These beautiful full height windows looking slightly back towards sort of the Tower Bridge and towards the Thames. And the key consideration here was do not obstruct the view. But obviously there's a lot of light and a lot of sun that can come through these windows. So you can't actually even see them. We did these beautiful modern roller blinds that filter the heat and the light, but actually you can still enjoy the view through them. So one of the big things with any project is window treatments. It's a huge thing we spend many hours talking to our manufacturer about is, making sure that however we treat the windows in the space is sympathetic to the view, the architecture, as well as being practical for whoever's going to be occupying the building. So this is a really nice example of that. And if we scoot up to the top floor, this is the living space. So the living, dining and kitchen, basically sort of a 360-degree panorama. So from Canary Wharf, sort of towards the north of London and then back towards the city. So again, these beautiful full height windows that we wanted to make sure that we didn't obstruct that view. So actually what we did do upstairs here was purely sheer curtains. At the moment, they're not overlooked at all. So from a privacy point of view, that wasn't sort of a major short-term issue, but these sheers will give that privacy, but without, again, obstructing this magnificent view that the lucky owner of this penthouse now gets to enjoy every day. So yeah, a really interesting space. And, thinking about, things like mullions and where we stack and all those things so that the glass actually is, and the view is the star of the show. We're just showing it in its best light, I guess.
And there are meetings that we have just dedicated to where are the windows and where are the doors and where are the handles and which direction do they open and what tracks or what pelmets or what are the technical details for the window treatments that we can have to make sure that we're enhancing rather than detracting or rather than hindering operation and aesthetics and view aspect, all of those kinds of things.
And you'll see here, actually, we did a beautiful, beautiful mirrored coffee table and, some decorative glass objects. So yeah, sort of glass happening in different layers here. And then kind of the opposite to that project was actually a hotel project we worked on in central London. And here, it's an old office building that's been converted into a 120-room hotel. And we did have Barry's beds in this project. Yes. That's how we know Barry.
This is the way the friendship began.
This is where it all began, Barry. So the request here obviously shares the privacy during the day, but actually the curtains had to give complete blackout for the guests. It's kind of a hotel target at kind of a younger target market, as you might guess from the decor and the size. So it was really important here that whilst the windows, during the day were again able to let as much light in as possible, but once someone was in bed, that actually any external light was completely blacked out. So that's a really interesting one to work on. So sort of the opposite extreme as the first example. So yeah, just sort of touching on how we do with windows, because it's such an important thing. And if you don't get it right, we all want to enjoy the light when it happens. But again, with the heat we've had the last few days, it's really important that we, as designers, make sure that we're protecting the furniture from, being overly exposed to light, artworks, those sort of things. So they're all considerations that we deal with to make sure that the glass between us and the external environment is doing its job, but is treated with real consideration in terms of the people inhabiting the buildings that we're furnishing. So very, very short on that. Probably one of our favourite things, and one of the things we use glass the most, is lighting. I'll hand over to Jules to kind of talk a little bit.
So this is hot off the press of this project that we're working on at the moment, which is furnishing a refurbished marketing suite for St George in their project at Chelsea Creek. So a very long-standing site for St George. I overheard somebody saying they first, 1994, they first started taking an interest in this area. So they've been here for a very long time and continue to release stages of the development, and we're working on a new marketing suite for their next release. And the brief is kind of, I guess, because it's Chelsea, there is a classic element to it, but there is, this part of London is so iconic for so many reasons. It's King's Road, it's fashion, it's culture, and design, art, so we incorporated sort of as much of that feeling into the elements that we specified for this project. And one of them was this lovely wall light inspiration image. So we always look far and wide for lighting. It's such an important part of every project. Lighting needs to be, architectural, so there might be downlights, that are casting a greater light, but we always like to add decorative pendant lights, wall lights, table lights, really to add the layers and the romance and the vibe and, the elegance and the decorativeness, I suppose. And so we really fell in love with these wall lights, which were vintage Italian glass babies that we couldn't get. They were just on an image online, but we thought we could interpret that and make it into a lovely, achievable light for our client that actually we didn't have too much time, and we managed to pull it out of the bag in about 4 weeks. So we designed this lovely version of it. So we changed up, I think the original is sort of more opal Italian glass. This is a reeded glass tube. It's about 50 mil diameter, cascading down, tapering down. So, all the things that we take into account when we're designing lighting is, does it look good from all angles? So it's on a wall, so it needs to look good from the side as you're approaching it. It needs to look good from the front. It needs to, this particular light, because of its design, it lended itself to having the light source washing up and down. Sometimes wall lights might just go up with the light or down, depending on what you're wanting to illuminate. So this one, we really wanted to have the light source going both directions. And it's a really lovely, elegant version of the inspiration versus what we could achieve. And we might take it for a walk later. It's literally on the wall behind me. So really happy with how that turned out. I was really happy. And so this goes back to the penthouse that Madelyn was talking about earlier at London Dock. This is a lovely, really unusual smoked glass globe that we fell in love with. So it's a modern take on a traditional chandelier shape with a sort of 6-arm horizontal structure that's suspended, and it's the cables themselves that give you that sort of draped effect that you might have on a more traditional chandelier, but done in a really modern way. And yeah, the mouth-blown grey glass globes were almost a sort of ombre effect, weren't they? They were sort of deeper grey at the top, and they had an ombre effect down to clear, so really unusual. And this got so much attention from everybody that
I think actually we were one of the first designers to actually order this. This was a prototype.
Yes, that's
so
right.
we're kind of constantly searching for the new pieces. I mean, like with anything in design, there are so many possibilities out there, but we're always looking, because certain people, I mean, you've all probably heard of the Tom Dixons and the Lee Briggs, they're all doing beautiful lighting, but you do see them a lot, and so we really try to find unique and interesting pieces. So this was one of those. So yeah, a lovely brand in Denver, and yeah, we moved heaven and earth to get their prototype, which was lovely.
Yeah, actually, it was. We weren't going to get it, were we? No. And then construction was delayed a little, as it often happens. So the project got pushed back a little bit, which meant we were able to get this light.
And we can be very persuasive.
We didn't leave them alone until we got it. So yeah, we were very happy with that one. Same project. So looking at when we do bedroom, so this is a 3-bedroom penthouse. We like to vary the types of bedroom lighting. And there's always a sort of, from a design perspective, there's a hierarchy that goes from a master bedroom to a second bedroom to a third bedroom. We always make sure the master bedroom is the hero. It's what, the buyer is going to have an emotional connection to, where they're going to be spending their time. So it's really important that we make sure that is singing, but making sure the other bedrooms are complementary, but definitely don't overshadow that master bedroom. This is a second bedroom in this penthouse, so we chose wall lights, and yeah, I mentioned we sort of like to mix it up in the master bedroom, which I think we'll see shortly.
Yes, yeah.
We did lovely pendant lights. I'll show you that next. Bedroom 2 had these beautiful wall lights. Burt Frank is a British lighting designer and manufacturer. They make them in the UK, and they are sort of, I guess, almost a vintage inspired designs. A lot of their table lamps featured in Madelyn on the desks. You just got those.
Yes, yeah.
So they're quite well known, but we like to choose their more unique, or maybe they're more unusual pieces to have a point of difference. So we love these ones. And actually we hung them upside down. The original intention was to have the longer arm pointing downwards, but we had such high ceilings in these bedrooms. They were 3-meter high ceilings. So we really wanted to sort of point that long arm up. And just a slight tweak, it's just making those decisions that you don't always have to do what everybody does or what the intention is. So just a little change you can see in those 2 images that they do feel different if you install them differently. And
also just the decision to use the smoked glass rather than the clear glass, just to give that lovely sort of graphic punch against that beautiful veneer headboard. Actually the middle piece is actually a velvet textured wallpaper. So again, it was just giving a really nice, strong statement piece. Again, it's really elegant in its simplicity, and really beautiful brass detailing. So yeah, just another lovely, and as you see, we're quite drawn to UK suppliers where we can as well, because there's some beautiful stuff that gets made here in the UK.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the master bedroom of the same apartment. Again, a very talented UK lighting company, designer called Jonathan Coles. So yeah, we chose these lights. The hero, so this, the master bedroom, this was a sort of substantial headboard installation. So you're only just seeing a little snippet of it, but it was a full wall, multi-directional, sort of faceted, slatted puzzle of timber panels that I think there were like 17 panels
yeah.
That were all installed painstakingly individually whilst we were all sweating watching for it all to go in smoothly. And those sort of, that geometry, the multi-directional effect, we wanted to bring into the lighting choice for this space. So it has that lovely reeded tube. It just gives a really soft glow. It's a really substantial piece.
Yeah, and again, a lot of lighting these days, it's LED, but it gives a lovely diffused light. So, we're still a fan of the light bulb, but, in these schemes, again, the lovely thing with the LEDs is that they last a long time, because this unit is almost like a capsule. It's quite sealed. So there are all considerations we have to make around, obviously, again, living in a house, do they need to change light bulbs, those sorts of things. So it's not just the aesthetic of the glass piece, but yeah, how does it live, and what does the light, how does the light sort of come through the glass in it, depending on how it's designed. So
yeah, and what aspect do you see when you're in bed, making sure that you don't want to be looking directly at a light bulb, you want it to be a soft, gentle wash of light, particularly in bedrooms. So yeah, we love those guys.
Yeah, sure. This is an older brand. This is actually a penthouse we did here at Chelsea Creek a few years ago. So again, another British brand, Rothschild and Vickers, who do beautiful blown glass. They think they have dozens of colours you can choose from, and this is from what they call their pick and mix range. So they have several different shapes, and then you choose the colours. So again, in this space, we just went, this is the master bedroom. Just wanted this, you know, beautiful sort of lovely green space, but this lovely sort of dusty pink, you know, ball shade. Just really, really simple, but suspended from the coffer above. Yeah, just really elegant in its simplicity. And again, this one actually has the filament because it just is such a nice effect with the glass in this instance. So yeah, again, really simple shape, and here it's all about the colour of the glass. And yeah, again, when it's lit, it's dimmable as well. So we do go for, you know, dimmable options because again, you know, it's a beautiful piece off and on, and you know, that's such an important consideration with lighting and with glass lighting. And again, we love to play with colour, and we're so lucky that we can do that with glass as well. It's it's such a beautiful material. So yeah, another lovely brand. Yeah, an oldie but a goodie, that one as well. Yeah, and this one actually.
This is the most beautiful lights. Yeah, so it's called the Teardrop by a design company called Design House Liberty, and it's showing how you can take, I guess, one idea and one concept. So they've really created this beautiful effect of this pendant. So what it is a sort of brass drop with that sort of cone fitting. The LED light is actually within that brass component, and then there's this lovely blown glass bulb that sort of has that teardrop effect. So when the light is on, it actually looks like the light source is within the brass. It's not, it's actually kind of coming out, shining down from the brass element. So it has this really lovely effect of being like a light bulb, but it's not lit itself. It's got this beautiful glow that comes from...
and the drops themselves are so weighty. They're just incredibly beautiful. And as we say here, that no two are the same because they're all handmade. So again, just such a simple light fitting, but the detail of the craftsmanship of this and the glass itself is... Yeah. So again, here we go with clear glass. Just such a beautiful thing.
Structurally lovely, really simple, and they've sort of developed it into various configurations. You can have kind of dozens of them.
There's one called, I think, called Waterfall. There's about 50 or 60 of these drops suspended in a hotel somewhere. It's quite something. Yeah. So that's the lovely thing with these options is, you know, it's a smaller fitting, but we have the repetition in terms of used obviously 4 times in the structure. So there's so many ways that we can play around with these objects. It's quite joyous, actually. So a little bit about lighting, just some of the lighting we've done. That's glass. Any questions? Keep going. Furniture, so glass furniture we dabble with as well. So again, a few examples of pieces that we've used on projects. So this was a penthouse at Fulham a couple of years ago, but a lovely combination of the smoked glass with the black marble. So you can see the image below. Actually, it's discontinued, which is a shame. So, but yeah, a really meaty piece of furniture, but the glass again just elevates it, and the lovely way you can see the marble through the glass. And again, we've gone for a smoked, we went for a smoked piece just for the drama of it. So yeah, just, again, so simple, but really, really impactful within the living space.
And I guess usually the decision to use glass furniture is usually based on what are we trying to, is there a space we're trying to enhance? Is there something that we're trying to maintain a line of sight through? So, if we have a really beautiful statement rug, often it's a decision to use a glass coffee table because we're able to see that loveliness through the glass. Similarly, in this particular application, this apartment is at One Tower Bridge. This was for a developer. So what we need to be really careful when we furnish for our developer clients is that we're enhancing the unique selling points of the property. It's the furniture and the furnishings are very important, but ultimately we're selling a home, a property that has attributes, often a view. So in this instance, we had a really significant, £1,000,000 view, multi-million pound view. So we had a decision, I guess, around, we didn't want to have a really bulky we wanted to keep it really light, not to detract from this view. So we had a really simple, classic design pedestal base and a glass top. So it was enhancing, demonstrating where a dining position is, but not at all detracting from that kind of key attribute of that property.
And also the other consideration is the other materials. So the kitchen in this one, I think, was pretty much all marble. So to do a marble dining table was too heavy. And also this is a corner apartment, so the balcony actually wraps all the way around. So as we talked about earlier, the challenge here was privacy with window treatments, but we did them very long run so that you can actually stack them right out of the way and not obscure the view for the residents. So yeah, again, it's where does the glass sit? How does it complement, say, other materials in the scheme, as well as finding, a nice shape. So again, with the glass, we wanted a beautiful oval shape, and glass actually works really well in rounded shapes, in spaces as well, sort of soften those edges.
And we always like to have a drinks cabinet. Is essential for furniture in all interior schemes, or a drinking area. If we can get a drinking area,
a chair, a table, whatever it needs to be.
So this is a gorgeous drinks cabinet called Tama from an Italian furniture manufacturer called Gallotti Radici. So this is stunning black timber on the outside. And it has this lovely engraved. It almost really interesting. It looks, but it is in fact an engraved motif on that mirror. So
can you phone me back in about half an hour? Because
what would otherwise be quite simple, that extra element, that extra sort of detail of the engraving really elevates that otherwise material. So yeah, a really stunning piece.
And then again, curated with beautiful glassware, decanters, decorative glasses. So again, all of that is really considered when we're doing this. We don't just sort of buy any old tumblers. We do spend actually quite a lot of time thinking about the glassware that goes in, and the brands that sort of fit. But yeah, it's just such a lovely piece that just comes to life because of the glass. We actually did a desk in the master bedroom. It's like a secretary desk that has a similar effect, and that sort of harlequin cutting of the mirror is beautiful.
Yeah, and then we love to design our own pieces. So often, it's because we can't find something. Design stems from not being able to get what you want or find what you want. Which leads us to designing our own pieces. And this gorgeous media unit. Again, a decision to use glass. It was an apartment that the media unit was sitting in quite an open sort of space, rather than tucked away. So it was in a transitional sort of area. So we didn't want it to be enclosed and heavy, but we did want a meaty, luxurious kind of component to it. So we designed this high gloss marble sideboard on the lower component. And then we wanted to keep the upper component really light and really airy so as to enhance the feeling of space in the room. And so we chose two materials for shelves, and we had sort of lovely brass rods, and then we had glass because we really wanted to keep it light and airy and open and to feel like it's not enclosing in the space. So
and again, the glass obviously the marble is on the front. The wraparound finish is going to be sort of a piano finish. So almost creating a mirror finish on the timber as well. But yeah, it's just the glass also helps to it has a reflective property when it's used this way as well. So we would, add lighting and what have you. So again, all of the objects that would make its way onto this would be, again, shown really beautifully with the glass shelves. And, if it was all brass, it would just be a little heavy as well. So it's about the light traveling through the shelves as much as anything. So yeah, really nice piece. Spare slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, mirrors and accessories. So the kind of the details, if you like. So yeah, we love mirrors. Mirrors are a really important part of every interior we do. And we think, you know, I mean, you're probably all of feng shui. It's a really important aspect to consider in any space about how the energy moves in a room and where we locate our mirrors. So we do think long and hard about what we're reflecting. And actually, this only shows 2. There are actually 3 of these mirrors above this sideboard. And it was quite a smallish space, but these mirrors really help to make it feel much bigger. And again, just the detail, that beautiful linearity and the repetition of the border around them just really elevated this space. So it's reflecting, you know, a media unit on the other wall. It's reflecting artwork and just bouncing, because there's only a balcony at one end of this room, so there wasn't that much natural light. So yeah, they really work a treat, and we love to use them. The bigger the better, quite often as well, with the mirror.
Yeah, so what decorative kind of elements do mirrors have? I mean, you know, it's a decision of what combination of elements in any particular vignette or in any particular combination of items. So this one is a beautiful Jonathan.
Yeah, it might have been a Jonathan Adler mirror, yes.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So it has a lovely lucite and brass frame. So yeah, just that sort of clear elegance of the lucite just adds a nice design detail, but isn't shouty or isn't kind of too over the top. But it has that lovely considered small brass details that really drew us to this mirror. And this is a gorgeous light-filled master bedroom. So, you know, we always try and imagine what's the day-to-day of who is going to be living in this particular property. This is a penthouse that we furnished for sale. And actually, this is the one that it was quite an expensive apartment in Chelsea and was on the market for 18 months. Empty. And the developer made the decision to furnish it. So we came in and did that, and it sold within 4 days of being furnished. So good furnishing is such a powerful tool for you know, anybody trying to sell a property, or and our developer clients know that, which is why we have a business. So yeah, it does really work. So yeah, going back to it, it was a decision for who's living in this room, what are they doing? There needs to be a dressing area. So it's just creating that kind of glamour of a really nice experience.
Do you recollect what price that property went for?
Yeah. Five big ones?
About 5 million. Might have been just over, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a beauty.
It's fascinating how at that level people buy a concept, not a space.
It's creating the emotional connection. It's showing them the dream and, you know, creating a lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah.
And often, you know, it might be an overseas buyer. So creating a ready-to-go turnkey sort of space for them is attractive, because otherwise they would have to do it themselves.
And this person bought everything, the artwork, everything.
Yeah.
Do
you find sometimes you do a project and then 2 years later or 3 years later the client comes back and says, will you do me a makeover? We
haven't yet. No, this one's coming up on 3 years, so maybe we should give them a call.
Maybe you should be knocking on the door.
Hopefully it looks as fabulous as it did the day we did it. Yeah, but again, even this is such a lovely, serene vignette, you know, but it's really elegant. And so the mirror just reflecting the beautiful terrace. It just, you know, we could have put artwork there, but it just wouldn't have the same impact. Again, another one, just this one's actually a 1-bedroom apartment. So again, we've done sort of the triptych of mirrors, again, finding something really sculptural, really interesting. So they've actually got this lovely sort of dark detailing around the edge. So again, you know, relatively compact space. We've got, you know, TV and stuff on the other wall, but yeah, just picking really unusual shapes. So they're not just a mirror, they're you know, they're an installation. It's almost like art. It makes a real difference, you know, to the space.
Are each one of those mirrors different?
No, they're
just the way the light's falling.
Yeah, exactly. So they each reflect a little bit of something different. Yeah, so no, they're all identical. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun to do. And then yeah, down to, you know, accessories. I think are these nude? Yeah, there's a lovely brand called Nude Glass who do gorgeous drinkware. So again, we spend a lot of time sourcing really beautiful, beautiful pieces. These are really lovely and weighty, and so yeah, we do. We do love glass, and it's those details do make a difference.
Where does glass like that come from?
Nude is Italian.
I think it's Italian. Yeah. So we have a lot of suppliers. I think we can buy direct from those guys. We have a few sort of favourite places we can source from. But yeah, again, we look for, even in bedrooms, on bedside tables, we'll often do carafes and glasses. And so again, it depends on the scheme. We very much curate all of the accessories to suit the overall look and feel. So, what we do in East London is different to what we do in West London, is different to, depending on the price point of the property. So, there's a lot of consideration and curation that goes into even the glassware. So yeah, that's actually the end. I mean, that's a very small snippet of what we do, but yeah, we do use, because initially it was like, oh, glass. And it's like, and it's an interesting material because it's something I think people do take it for granted a little bit. It's something that we obviously every day we're using glasses and stuff, and to find pieces that spark joy is one of the things we really enjoy in our job.
And it is, coming down to glassware, it's not only particularly small items, it's not just how they look. So much of it is about how they feel. Are they weighty? Do they have a nice ergonomic, quality?
Oh, you've got to think about whether they're tactile as well, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's an experience with that.
Yeah. And like I say, we do vases, we do other decorative items that will be glass, again, mixed in with, books and ceramics. And so again, it is that real consideration of what goes where, and, but yeah, glass is definitely something we use quite a lot. So yeah, that's just I hope that's okay. That's a bit of a snippet of our world and glass.
I love the lighting that you do. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Lighting is glorious. It's probably, as we said, there's some companies doing some beautiful glass furniture, but interestingly, a lot of people don't always think it's luxurious enough, or so they want to go for marbles or what have you. So, we do try and pop in there. We did a project, we haven't got a great photo, unfortunately, but we did a headquarters for the wedding shop. It's like an online gift. And we did a company called Glass Italia committee, a completely glass circular table with a glass conical base. It's just one of the most beautiful pieces.
Glass Italia is quite a special company if you've ever come across them. So yeah, they do, they started in the 60s, I think, doing sort of partitions and windows and doors. But they've sort of developed into furniture, and their pieces are 100% constructed of glass, and it's it's hard. We tried to have a look at it to talk about it today, but there's not much information
about
online.
science.
I've only heard
it's a secret.
It's a secret, but they do extremely thick glass, but there's a technology that they use so that it doesn't go green. What can happen so often with glass above a certain thickness, it can have a green tint. And so the technology that they use keeps even these really thick, substantial tabletops. It is a completely clear, colourless glass, which is a really nice design element, to have in your home. It isn't sort of having to have green tinges everywhere. So yeah, they do sofas, they do shelving units, desks, all made of glass. It's really beautiful.
Okay. Take that off so I can see your lovely faces. So
fantastic.
I hope that was interesting. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Lots of questions, but that was wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You've got William and Bill wanting to ask you a question. William?
Okay. Yeah, ladies, I absolutely adore...
Wrong William, Bill.
Wrong William, right.
You're a Bill, I said William.
Well, I'm William as well. Never mind, let him go.
Keep going, Bill.
Go on, William, you do your question.
So, okay, my question. I really love that chandelier, which you had just at the moment before we lost the screenshot. So you saw that, presumably, before you had that project, or did you actually get the project, then you thought, no, I'm going to go have to find a chandelier? Because when you saw that, if it was the first, I can imagine that you then go around, where can we fit that chandelier? Because we have to fit it in.
Yeah, I mean,
right. I'm trying to think
because you're not designing so much, you're just putting other people's designs into the space.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I
But
think
it must be so different. I mean, you must then think in terms of, can we get another one of those chandeliers in? Because it's such an alluring piece, isn't it?
Wasn't it?
yeah, I mean, it's both of those things. I think for that project, it was a designer that we have used their furniture before, so we're kind of aware of what
table, quite effective.
This one, yeah,
it's fantastic.
We're aware of what designers are doing, and you know, social media and marketing is so powerful these days, and we get hundreds of emails a day from all of our favourite suppliers. And particularly new products are released seasonally or often around September, or they're released in Milan. You know, there's a big furniture and design fair in Milan every year. So there's kind of typically twice a year, you know, furniture and lighting designers and suppliers will release new product, and we get bombarded with emails. It's great. And so we do see things and go, oh my God, I love that. And it goes in the bank. There's just a little visual bank that we kind of remember things and wait for the right time. But often we get a project and we do go and find something specific for a project.
I think this one, I think the project came first. I think from memory, and then I think we saw. I can't. Yeah, it's a while ago.
Great
but as Jill said, we have a. You know, it all goes in the vault, and there are brands that you know and love, and and it's really hard because, as I said, you know, we almost didn't get this, which is, you know, can you really soul destroying when it's such a hero piece? So we were very, very lucky. But yeah, it's. I think the thing with, and I think you'll see all of the lighting we've got. It's the elegance and the simplicity of all of the pieces. It's those details.
I loved your teardrop version. The three tiers. Okay, presumably in the teardrop you could have 10 tiers.
Yeah, you can get as many as you like. I'll dig out some links and send them to Paul. But yeah, this has been done in giant installations in hotels all over the world. So yeah, it's very, very lovely. It's
But you used it here horizontally, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So they do the horizontal. There's a 2-drop and then there's a 3-drop. It kind of made more sense in this space because again the table was 2.4 meters, I think. So we wanted something
right.
And actually, you know, on that particular day, that light was installed by an electrician, as you do, and he dropped one of those teardrops, and it's on the table on some very expensive dinnerware as well. So we had to replace one of those, which was very difficult because there's a lead time. You know, often these things are made to order. And we had a launch, and I think we had quite a few things like that.
We ended up, they managed to find one that another customer had.
We borrowed one. We borrowed one from someone's home for the product launch until they were able to make us a new one, which took 2 or 3 weeks. So it's
And what was the effect of the lighting through the teardrop when it was horizontal rather than vertical here? How did that shine onto the wall or the window?
It's for this kind of space, it's more over a dining table. We often treat lighting as more of an ambient glow or a decorative kind of element rather than needing to actually illuminate a task, or, you know, it's a different approach. If we have lighting over a desk, it needs to really make sure that you can see what you need to do. But it was more of a sort of
a glow. I mean, you can see here that because this is the LED just under here. It actually sort of projects forward, and then it sort of bounces within the teardrop. It's quite unique, but it's just a lovely glow, is what I would say. So it's not directional in any way, shape, or form. It's very much very much ambient lighting within the space.
I think they're stunning. I have an atrium in my house, which is 3 stories, and I've been looking for something like this for some time.
Oh, there you go. Cool. All right.
I don't think I can afford your prices.
We'll talk. Drop us an email. We'll talk. It's a lovely product.
I think Bill can ask his question now. Bill?
Very good. Thanks. That was wonderful, Madeline and Juliet. Thank you. I have a question, concern. To what extent, in those magnificent floor-to-ceiling glass windows, can you build in protection for furniture, pictures, etc., against sunlight, or does it have to rely on secondary protection?
There is UV protective glass, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So that apartment was meant to have it and didn't, and sort of suffered a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I think they had to retrofit.
Yeah, they had some issues with joinery.
But yeah, it certainly worked when you have that much sunlight. UV protective glass will help protect your fabrics and your art.
Yeah. Is it help protect or protect?
It's a good question.
Help protect. I think there's nothing that is going to be fails. It depends, and it depends on the types of fabric that you have as well. So different colours fade at different rates. Different fabrics fade at different rates as well. Some colours fade quickly than others. So there's all sorts of variations there as to how.
Can you treat the fabrics?
So there are inherently fade resistant fabrics. Yes. Yeah. We do a lot of. You can sort of treat fabrics for stains. You can treat fabrics for fading. You can treat fabrics for fire retardancy, but it's never as long-lasting as a fabric that has it inherently. So, there's actually really awesome indoor-outdoor fabrics now, which are made of, they need to be synthetic to be really powerfully fade-resistant. But lots of fabrics are made from polypropylene recycled plastic, makes actually incredibly tactile and soft and luxurious fabrics that you would never guess. Recycled plastic bottles.
It's becoming more common. Like when we have, obviously coming from Australia, it's a bigger issue there usually. But yeah, obviously fabric choice. But there are, as Jules said, there's some really phenomenal UV kind of rated fabrics these days that can be used outside and inside. So it's a conversation to be had. And again, it's that thing of
looking at your situation, your individual circumstances,
and prioritizing.
Well, in a setting like that glorious flat with all those windows, you first of all go for UV glass, and secondly, you choose fade-resistant fabrics for everything inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And pictures, presumably, you can put a UV protecting glass in front of the pictures.
Exactly. For your framed pictures, for sure.
It's also thinking about locations. I mean, the artwork we had, a lot of it didn't necessarily get direct sunlight. So it's just being mindful of the selections that you make within the space. But yeah, it's cool.
Fascinating. Thank you very much.
Where do you get your furniture from? Where's your favourite place?
We make a lot
bespoke. Furniture.
We actually make a huge amount bespoke for many reasons. Often it's to do with the size of the pieces. We often, even with lighting, we often can't find what we want. And also because we do bespoke, we can choose from a huge range of fabrics and colours. So yeah, we tend to go bespoke, and we mix it up as well. Like we do, we do some high-end Italian brands. We do some high street brand. It depends on the project, and it depends. We use the adage a lot of it's a bit like putting together an outfit for the ladies among us. It's not everything has to be high-end and branded. It's how you put it all together and the curation of those. But again, your sofas and your headboard. You want your sofa to be a hero piece. So we would always recommend,
and to last you a long time. So your bigger, more investment pieces, we would always, apportion more of the budget to, and things like, well, you might be happy to switch up in a few years' time, for something new, or move it around, or what have you. So it's just making those decisions.
And we share that process as well.
with the bespoke pieces that you're
Because chairs are always difficult.
making, do you have them made in the UK, or do you go to Europe and other places as well?
Probably the UK. Yeah, we've got a couple of amazing manufacturers. One actually not far from us in Acton, Park Royal. Yeah, we love using UK manufacturers. Again, the reasons behind that are it's local. We can go and see the pieces being made. We're very impatient, so we love to keep an eye on it. But they do really great stuff. And, you know, everyone goes, oh, it must be really expensive. Actually, it's not. And often you can create stunning pieces that you might price equivalently on the high street, but it's completely unique to you. So yeah, I mean, we do purchase from Europe. We don't buy in stuff from Asia. We love to keep it, you know, UK and Europe as much as possible. So yeah, mainly because we're control freaks and we really like fabrics. So
do you commission glass as well?
Probably more lighting. I mean, only really in terms of lighting. But yeah, it's something
we would
love
to start doing bespoke mirrors. That's always something that we can never quite find what we're looking for. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of great stuff out there, but I think one of the wish list things would be to design some mirrors and make some mirrors.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we probably should look at it. We just have, I mean, if you can hook us up with somebody, but yeah, we should look at it because it is lovely. But like I say, sometimes I think glass it's an issue because again, some of our clients don't feel it's necessarily luxurious enough, which I think is really interesting. But when you look at what you can do with colour and shape, then yeah, potentially it's something we would very much like to explore and change people's opinions of it because it is, you know, it is a glorious medium to work with.
I mean, a glass against marble, there's a considerable weight difference.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, it's up to us as designers to kind of, obviously, you know, we design for our clients, so we listen to their wants and needs. But if we have strong feelings about something that may or may not work, then we'll push that and have those conversations. But yeah, we'd love to look at more glass furniture. I think it's a really interesting.
And I mean, we have to rely heavily on the people who are making it for us because we aren't experts in, you know, industrial engineering where we have dreams and then we have people who make them a reality. So we always have to rely on the advice of the people who are making the beautiful things for us.
On the practicality of it.
Totally. So yeah, absolutely.
Say no.
Yeah. And it's interesting. We actually found a beautiful coffee table recently. We put into a project. It was it had these two beautiful stone, sort of jagged, like, you know, chiseled stone with just a square plain glass top. It was stunning. Client went, I don't like the sharp edges of the glass. They really were just like, no, that's not. And people, I don't know. People sort of, I don't know if they assume glass isn't as robust as other materials. So I think there's probably some education of Joe Public about glass and its robust and its beauty. So hopefully as designers we can do a little bit more of that.
I think the other thing that would be beneficial is to create as a group or networking evening with the company's glass people. I mean, we've got one there, David, sitting there, who's now got his own furnace and be blowing glass for the work that he does. But I mean, I'm thinking of other members of the company that are glass manufacturers, or they blow glass or they create glass, and there could be a good marriage there with your designing and them actually producing bespoke stuff that you actually want to use.
Would love to. I mean, and as you can see, we try to mix it up, and we always say we don't like doing the same thing twice. So we'd love to create original, unique pieces. So yeah, we would love that.
We had an interesting inquiry not long ago. We had a member of the Goldsmiths Company, and he was creating a chandelier, which he wanted to use gold and glass together. And I put him in touch with a few of our members, and he ended up working with Stephen Pollock Hill, who has Nazing glass, and they've made leaves with gold veins in them. I can't remember how big the project is, but they were individually made leaves, which were all put together to make a huge chandelier.
I'd love to see that.
But I think we'd have to talk to Stephen as to see how that project evolved and where it went with it.
Yeah, no, very happy. I mean, we love collaboration, and we love UK artisans, and so many.
I mean, we've got so many people within the company that are either manufacturing or they're doing something that there could be a marriage there between on the interior design, the design side of it could make it quite interesting. I mean, even John Paulson sitting there could even is expert knowledge of what can be done with glass.
And Richard.
That's me.
Oh, and Richard as well, of course.
Our master.
Yeah, I could let you have lots of bottles. They don't all have to be empty either. They could be.
All right.
I could also. You were talking about windows and UV resilient glass. There are many other float glass types which benefit from sophisticated coatings that prevent UV going through, not just shade. So to answer Bill's question, you can get very expensive glazing where you will not get any light burn through it at a whole series of frequencies or levels. Because the background to that is quite intriguing, that float glass, which was invented in this country a long time ago, is a commodity. All the float glass manufacturers, i.e. big window manufacturers, have established that they make no money out of the glass. They only make it out of a sophisticated coating. And that can not just double or treble the value of the glass, but multiply it 100-fold if the coating is very sophisticated for particular applications. And your high-end apartments, obviously you're not necessarily responsible for the installation of the windows, but the developer can change an apartment entirely. Have electronic remote-controlled glass that will change colour at the press of a button on your phone. All of that is now perfectly available.
Fascinating.
I have to go. Thank you so much, Lee. Good night, all.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming.
Good night, John.
Bye.
Look after yourself, John.
Good night.
I think we're up to the hour, folks. Anybody got any more questions?
Only about accessories, really. Maybe they go and see Peter Latham's in Bloomsbury, in Bermondsey. See, the actual glass that's produced there, the glass accessories, and being particularly tactile, and they're fabulous. I mean, just wonderful.
Well, we have 3 projects that we're sourcing. We're just about to start sourcing all of our accessories for that we need to install in September. So we could,
Peter Latham is really a wonderful place to go.
Amazing.
And see the glowing, see the young designers, see the pieces that you can just put in the right place.
Yeah.
If you look at his website, you can subscribe to his mailing list, because they have recently been having quite a lot of tabletop sales. If you need more details, just email me and I'll send them through to you.
Her name?
Peter Layton. Layton.
London glass blowing.
London glass blowing. Are you going, Edgar?
Yes.
Okay, nice to see you.
Cheerio, Edgar.
Good night.
Well,
yes, I think
I must leave as well.
Thank you.
Yes, I think we ought to sort of be saying good night, and thank you ever so much, girls. I mean, that's
excellent.
Excellent.
We look forward to seeing you at a live event when we all get together again.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Ladies,
Any
of us are still alive.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Getting very old.